A Fresno hotel becoming a big target for burglars, being hit 4 times in the past month. What thieves are taking that's leaving the hotel rooms themselves nearly empty. Plus protecting victims from the Bass Lake fire from scammers. What you need to know at 10. Oh, okay, we're starting?
No, for real.
Okay.
Tell me where you grew up.
Where I grew up? I grew up in Fresyes.
And where'd you
Do you
go
want to know more about that?
Yeah. I want you to elaborate.
Okay. Well, I started off going to school at Fresyes Christian Academy, and then in the 4th grade, I went to Golden Oak Elementary School, and then proceeded to Valley Oak Middle School, and then I went to high school at Golden West High School. Go Blazers!
So has your family always been here in the valley?
Yes.
Yeah.
My grandfather actually came over during the Dust Bowl from Oklahoma. And an interesting story, it took him, he was a kid, and it took them several months to get over to California because they were so poor that they had to work different jobs in order to make it to the next location. And then he came over and he lived, when he was a kid, at a place called Linnell Camp, which is in, it's kind of right outside of Visalia in Farmersville. And it's like a laborer camp, and he lived there with his family, and then he started a farm, started a ranch on his own.
So how did you get into TV news? In a farming family, where did you make the leap?
I made the leap. I think I started doing journalism from a very young age. So when I was like in elementary school, I wrote for the little school newsletter, and then when I was in middle school, I did the school paper, and then in high school, I was the editor-in-chief of my paper there. And then in college, I wrote for the paper there as well, and I took a broadcasting class in my junior year of college. And actually, right when I was in that class was when 9/11 happened, and that kind of is it all. We covered it, and we did all of that stuff, and that's kind of what got me interested in broadcasting.
Okay. When you kind of decided to go into broadcast, did you see yourself anchoring it?
No, I said I would never anchor, actually, because I always liked, when I went into broadcasting, I always liked reporting, and that's what I started off doing, and that's what I always liked being out in the street, and it was different every day, and so the anchoring thing kind of happened later on, but I never actually thought I would be doing it, because I always said I wouldn't do it.
Did you have an idol growing up?
Not really.
Yeah.
My idols were newspaper writers, were like columnists from the New York Times and things like that. Now I really like Diane Sawyer, but back then I didn't really have any writers. I looked up to writers more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a memorable story from your time as a reporter here in the Valley?
Well, we got Michelle Obama do the commencement speech at UC Merced. That was pretty cool.
You covered that?
I covered that. It was the hottest day of my life. You know, there was a story that I did about a little kid who had alopecia, and he wasn't allowed to wear caps to school because of like the no hat policy.
Yeah.
And it was just really memorable to me because he, wanted to wear a hat to school because all the kids would make fun of him because he didn't have hair. And we did this story, and we got the school to change its policy, and it struck a chord with me because I've had a history of not having hair, and I felt really good about it. Afterwards, his dad said, "You have no idea of, how much better he feels when he goes to school with a cap on." And,
you have a history of not having hair.
Well, just when I was in Missouri, I had cancer, and so I lost my hair. And so I guess I should have backed up. That's what made that story so memorable for me, was because I could relate and thinking, well, gosh, I was 24 and I could handle it. I was adult. This kid was like a little kid and couldn't explain it to his friends, and they were different reasons. But
oh my God, I had no idea.
8 years ago.
All right. I'm married to a firefighter. Did you guys meet out in the field?
We actually met through a mutual friend who used to be my boss here, who knew both of us.
What was that first date like? Was it like instant?
Yeah, it was really awkward. I couldn't eat anything because I was so nervous. And I made up a story that this is so stupid. that, so everybody knows that I hate cilantro.
Uh-huh.
Everybody that knows me knows that, I mean, I don't just like not like it, but I hate it with a passion. Like I won't even be in the same room with it.
Oh.
It makes me.
I've got some in my pocket.
Like it's not you. So I made up a story. I got so nervous, and we ordered nachos somewhere, and I made up a story that they had cilantro in them, and that's why I couldn't eat them. But like in reality, I was so nervous that I couldn't eat a single chip. I've told him since then that there was no cilantro in the chips.
Obviously, as a wife of a firefighter, is it scary for you being in the news business and hearing the fires that come through?
Yeah. I'd almost is better though, because I know that I can hear all the traffic on the scanner, and so I hear instantaneously what's happening. It's more nervous for me when I'm at home and I can't hear play by play what's going on.
Right.
So
here you can at least monitor
it makes it better being here.
So you've also got 2 small kids.
Yeah.
How is it being a working mom in news?
It's hard. It's really hard. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I FaceTime with them every single night at bedtime and at dinner time, and I cry and they cry sometimes. And
you FaceTime with them from the station?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I go in the back room and I FaceTime and do story time with my oldest at bedtime, and then I FaceTime with them when they're eating dinner and talk to them. And, no, it's definitely a lot harder than it used to be.
Yeah. I want people to know how funny you are.
I can't be funny prompted. My humor isn't appropriate for.
When you're writing out an email and you spelled the word girl, how many U's do you put in girl?
I usually only use one U, maybe 2. It's more
Okay.
So there's like G-U, maybe another U, and then R-R-R-R-L-L, maybe a third L.
Okay.
And then dot.
Okay. Girl.